Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very, very much. For me to start and to summarize what others have said and to say in some words thank you is rather redundant. But first of all, Mitch, I thank you for the $30. I know George made change on the way he left. So you can check with Tim for the $10. George, she reminded me if you asked anything about the fish, I would avoid the office on Monday. Sickness might be in your best interest. See, I've learned a few things. First of all, when I was called and said I was going to be the Citizen of the Year, one of the people I asked was Malcolm, because I was at Malcolm's banquet. I watched how Mitch shredded him to pieces. And Malcolm just sat there and took notes. So I asked Malcolm, I says, so Malcolm, what's the secret to coming to one of these banquets? Malcolm says, bring lots of paper. So I brought lots of paper, Mitch. Then Brian McDonald, who's with the Kinsman Club. Brian, where are you? You're over here. And Brian's lovely wife. See, Brian leaves on, apparently, business, leaves his wife in charge of the event, who emails me repeatedly asking me all these details. Don't tell me who's coming. Don't tell me anything. Okay, so I'm this extreme A personality. I have to control everything. I'm invited to a banquet that I don't know who's coming. I don't know what's being served. And Brian's words were simply just sit back and enjoy the ride. So I must say it's a wonderful ride, and thank you very much for that advice. To the Honorable, and I don't know how you associate Honorable with Daryl Hickey, but and by the way, Daryl, your podium is still here. I saw you were standing on it when you were up. See, I did say this. I said to Mitch, I do get the last word, but Mitch reminded me he was the MC and he actually does get to say goodnight, so I have to be kind to him. Well, just wait, I'm kidding there. Anyhow, Daryl, I don't know how you and my sister have come to be, but I'll just leave it at that. So, in planning for this event, I was invited to come over to Mitch's office. So Mitch invites me over and he says, be there at 4:45. I said, I'll be a few minutes late. Those of you that know me, a few minutes late is usually about 5 or so, even though I've set my watch ahead of time, so I'm not late, it's a few minutes late. So I arrive at Mitch's office at 5, the doors are all locked. So I phone his phone. Mitch doesn't answer. So I'm thinking I have to get to a volunteer thing for the Winter Games. Where's Mitch? All of a sudden one of the staff from Mitch's law firm steps out. Oh, just come in. He's just meeting with a client. So he invites me up to his office. So we start to sit and we're talking and he says, would you like a drink? He says, let me offer you some of Malcolm's favorite scotch. And we're starting. I look at my watch. I say, Mitch, I don't have a lot of time. I've got to get to a Winter Games thing. So Mitch says, well, just a little bit of scotch. So we were visiting, and due to attorney-client privileges, I won't share much of the conversation with you. But as I'm sipping on this scotch, I'm thinking, okay, so I'm the Citizen of the Year. I'm having scotch. I'm headed over to the Winter Games. I might have a little bit too much scotch. This event is sponsored by the Daily Herald. And so I'm telling this story. I think I told this to Kelly or somebody at work, and we're thinking, so how does this look for the front page of the paper tomorrow? 2013 Citizen of the Year has been pulled over. He claims that his attorney plied him with alcohol, to which there's a picture of Mitch, and Mitch says, I don't know anything about it. So tonight I'm getting ready for this event, and there's this joke I've shared around the office a little bit. A good friend of ours, and George can relate to this, a good friend of ours, Bob Lang from Demers Ambulances in Saskatoon, he phones me after the event and after the nomination's been made, and he says to me, so how's things going? And I says, Bob, I really hurt my back. And Bob says, well, what do you mean you hurt your back? I says, well, I slipped and I fell. And he says, what? And he's really, feeling sorry for me, which is rarely rare that somebody would feel sorry for me. But anyhow, so Bob says, well, I said, I slipped on rose petals. And he says, what? I says, well, I've hired these two little 12-year-olds. They walk around everywhere in front of me. They throw rose petals. So Bob laughs, and just like you do, politely do that. And so I said, I have such a headache. And this is January the 2nd, so he's bugging me that I went out somewhere for New Year's, drank too much. I says, no. It's a trumpeter that I have. So what do I get? I get Michael McLaughlin tonight, and he plays the bagpipes ahead of me. And so I'm thinking, okay, this is really awkward. So I tell this to Michael, and Michael says, well, if you want, anytime I'll just, play for you and just walk right in. Anyhow, I certainly want to thank everyone here. First of all of you. It is truly an honor to be recognized as Prince Albert's 2013 Citizen of the Year. There's one space left on there. I don't know whether that means to the Kinsman Club that we're done with the award ceremony in the program. You see there's only one line. But to certainly the Prince Albert Daily Herald, Perry, and the organization that you represent here tonight, thank you. To Jared and to all of your colleagues in Kinsman, thank you very much. But more importantly, many of you may not know, and I truly want to thank the Kinsman Club again. The Kinsmen are one of our big donors for the recently wrapped up Pineview campaign. And so their name will, as many of you may not know, will be blazoned on one of the houses here in the new Pineview Terrace long-term care facility this spring. And so we thank the Kinsman Club for stepping up to do that. It is truly grateful for you to do that. To all the members of the media that are here tonight, certainly to Mayor Dion, no sir, I'm not after your job, but Daryl Hickey, I'm not worried.
Thanks for the heads up.
You're so welcome. So tell Premier Wall he's safe too. I don't nearly have his charisma, and if anybody's busy, that's a busy man. Some of my family's not here, so I see that Mitch was so kind and not to make any jokes to the Senate. Uncle Dave is really appreciative as he's one of the senators. Maybe he's not here for some political reason. I'm going to be quite polite in that respect. Larry Brewster's sitting over there probably taking notes, so I'll kind of leave that over. To my colleagues at Parkland Ambulance who are sitting at two tables, they are, as Mitch says, a large part of my life. They are, as Mom would say, why don't you just have a bed at work? I do. I have a fold-out couch. Actually, George's couch we're trading in when he retires. It's going to be a fold-out up in my office. So, but to the men and women that make up Parkland Ambulance, thank you very much. While the accolades are mine, and certainly I'm the visible face in a lot of things, those are the people that I represent on so many volunteer projects, and so many of the backbones of things that I depend on for success in the community. So I thank them very much for being here tonight. They truly do mean a lot to me. So Malcolm, you're right. Just scribble a few notes and it works really well. They'll think you're pretty well organized. It works well. So I was talking to Malcolm, and he says if everything went well, I might get work at Canadian Tire when I retire. So I don't know if I can have your parking spot, but your office is pretty neat up in the corner when we were there. So maybe. So people have asked me when I was named Citizen of the Year, what does it feel like? Well, certainly surprise. For those of you that weren't at the event, and a lot of members of the Daily Herald staff that are here tonight would recognize this. When I was nominated, George invited me to a meeting, and it's no uncommon thing. He'd call me up, and he's there. And first of all, I want to correct something. Marvis, when you phoned George, and George sent over the work, the background on me, you said you got it lickety-split. It was so nicely typed. Here's how it works in our office. Marvis, you phoned George. You talked to George. You explained it to him. George says, I'll get it for you right away. George puts down the phone, dials 358, that's my extension. He says, Lyle, could you send me over your resume? Lyle sends over the resume. George pushes send, sends it to Marvis. That's how it works. So don't give him too much credit for that. But people asked, what was it like to be nominated? And it is truly an honor. It is a humbling experience. I feel very appreciative. When I look around the room, I see so many people: Chris Egham, Fred and Diane Matheson representing Jack, Rob representing your dad, who have gone certainly here, Mrs. Davender for Herschel. And, it is a remarkable company and a group that I truly would have never aspired to be recognized in. It's a league of people who have strived so much to make this community a much better place, who hope that at the end of the day, when we go home and our feet are sore and we're tired and, we've got to get up in the morning to do something else, or as the upcoming Saskatchewan Winter Games are coming, and Carol and Judy and Lisa and Shelley can attest to, the long hours that we'll put in. And by the way, as you're leaving, on the table over there, Carol will be setting up a computer. Carol, just wait for everybody so they know. She'll be asking you to give her your name and birthday. That's all we need. You'll be registered as volunteers, and we'll give you shifts in the coming week. But it is truly an honor and a very humbling experience. For the countless number of people that I work with every day, every year, Charlene and the wonderful people that we work with at Relay for Life, Rob and the people that we've worked with through the Hospital Foundation at Festival of Trees, and the list that goes on and on of people that I've been with. It is a remarkable experience that, even though at the end of the day it's tiring, even though at the end of the day it's, what am I doing it for? It is to really represent our community, to make it a better place, to show our community that we can be that much better, to show the rest of the world that we are a #1 community in terms of volunteer aspect. And those of you that work with the Service Club, and I'm sorry, President Garth from the Kiwanis, I've already been recruited for the Rotary, so that was part of the deal that went on with the Pineview Terrace. That in order to make the commitment, I had to be. No, that's not really true in any way. But it is to make our community that much better of a place. And all we really ask is to be thanked, and this is truly more than anyone would ask to be thanked for. From the smiles, the hugs, the handshakes, and the odd formal recognition that one does get, it really is truly a humbling experience to be named the Prince Albert Citizen of the Year. Not only is it a humbling experience, but it truly is an honor. I'm very appreciative for that. People who know me say, when will Lyle stop talking, because he can go on and on and on. Actually, the bar is still open, so you can just simply refill your drinks, and we'll stay here for a while. Having talked about it, would you like me to talk about the Madagascars? Or?
Bar closes at 1 now.
Oh, okay. But again, I really want to thank everyone. I just want to thank you all for being here to share in this evening. There are so many of you that I've been a pleasure to be part of, to work with. Certainly to all of my colleagues at work, to everyone that I've worked with, and most importantly to my family, to my mom and my sister. Unfortunately, my nephews are not here. They said, Uncle Lyle, your birthday was really quite boring. And how long will this last? I said, well, it'll probably be a little bit longer. They said, we're staying home. Oh, well. At least as I was talking through dinner, Jared was telling me a story. They were at a wedding, and some lady was holding up an iPad, and she was FaceTiming the whole thing. So I haven't seen any of that going. At least the nephews haven't got a live play-by-play to that. But I certainly want to thank each and every one of you for being part of the journey that I've been on to achieve tonight's recognition. To be part of that journey, to be part of that group, such a distinguished history of people, is truly a wonderful experience, and I certainly want to thank you. I've been sort of dabbling in a book. Mom's read this at home. It's When All You Have Is Hope, and it's by Frank O'Day. And if you don't know who Frank O'Day is, Frank is the founder of Second Cup. And Second Cup is, of course, a coffee shop, and I don't see Ed Zaparanik in here, so I'm okay to plug it. I won't be in trouble for that, though they'll probably take back my Tim card. And Frank O'Day, if you don't know, was a street person. He was actually homeless. He was abused. He was mistreated. And he rose through some single amount of adversity to overcome a lot. And in his book, and he quotes a little bit of a poem, and if you probably have heard it, and I'll just simply read from it. The title of it is called Desiderata. So if you've heard it, you probably know where I'm going with this. And it reads as follows. Go placidly amid the noise and haste, and remember what peace there may be in silence, as far possible without surrender, be on good terms with all persons. And he continues to say, the last few lines are probably the ones that mean the most. You are a child of the universe. No less than the trees and the stars, you have the right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be, or whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life. Keep peace with your soul. With all its shame, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is a beautiful world. Be cheerful and strive to be happy. I think that truly sums up for all of us who do an incredible amount of volunteer work. And you see I'm closing my book. That must mean I'm done, or else I'm going to go on to ad lib. And my colleagues from Parkland are saying, oh no, he's going to ad lib. And I see the music is playing, because out of the corner of my eye I could see Mitch is walking to the stage. So Mitch, if I leave $40, do I get to just a couple more minutes?
Yeah, I gave George 3 20s, eh?
Well, I made change and kept 10, so you're going to have to check with him. But as many of you who know me and I've worked with, I've had the distinct pleasure of doing so. And certainly in closing, it is truly and once again an honor to be associated with so many fine folks.
In Prince Albert, I'm Kayla Brooke.